On June 4th, 1989, the student movement that was advocating for democracy in China came to a bloody end with the brutal suppression ordered by Deng Xiaoping, the leader of the Chinese Communist Party. This is the infamous Tiananmen Square massacre, where peaceful protesting students were slaughtered by the military. More than 30 years have passed, and Chinese people have never stopped resisting the evil Chinese Communist Party. However, these resistances have been too feeble under the joint strangulation of the CCP and its overseas accomplices, and too many people have disappeared without a trace under the CCP's silent repression. MilesGuo was a donor to the 8964 student movement and was sentenced to 22 months in prison. During his imprisonment, all the political prisoners in his cell were executed on various trumped-up charges, and MilesGuo was the only one to walk out of prison alive. Since then, eradicating the Chinese Communist Party has become his lifelong oath and commitment. For more than 30 years, he has been maneuvering with the CCP and persevering through adversity, designing a layout to destroy the CCP with wisdom. In 2017, MilesGuo arrived in the United States and began the whistleblower movement to expose the evil nature of the Communist Party to the world. The Rule of Law Foundation and the Rule of Law Society, established on November 20th, 2018, became legitimate funds for the movement to eliminate the CCP. On June 4th, 2020, MilesGuo announced the establishment of the new federal state of China to the world, and his fellow bit his finger to prepare to press a blood print on the new federal state of China declaration and pledged to take down the CCP. A huge lightning bolt appeared in the sky behind him, as if bearing witness to his commitment. He Long Hao, a famous Chinese football player and former Asian Footballer of the Year, solemnly read the new federal state of China declaration to the world, while his wife, Yi Zhanying, a former world badminton champion, wrote a farewell letter to support her husband and prepare for possible persecution by the CCP. The concept of the new China Federation is derived from the federal system in the United States. It refers to the federation composed of multi-provinces or regions on the Chinese mainland, formed as members after the eradication of the Communist Party. The Himalaya Supervision Organization was also established at the same time as the new China Federation. It is an international civil organization composed of fellow fighters from the whistleblower revolution, established on the basis of the Rule of Law Fund and the Rule of Law Society, and is bound by international law. The vision of the new federal state of China is to adopt the Western democratic rule of law system and corresponding international law, establish a separation of powers political system, and produce a new government through one person, one vote under the joint supervision of international institutes and the Himalayan Supervisory Organization. The election of the impeachment systems coexist to efficiently operate the government and prevent significant social unrest and autocratic disasters. While the CCP still holds the Chinese government hostage, the Himalayan Supervisory Organization will devote itself to overthrowing the CCP while also connecting with the countries and forces supporting the preparation of the new government to provide various guidance and coordination. The elimination of the CCP is a necessary act of justice. The establishment of the NFSC has received support from many international figures. At the National Day celebrations in 2022, Connie Morgan was interviewed by Mr. Guo in public for the first time. On February 24th, 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine. 2 days later, MilesGuo announced in a live broadcast that the NFSC would participate in the humanitarian relief efforts in the Russia-Ukrainian war. In the city of Medica, which borders Poland and Ukraine, the NFSC rescue team has built the largest and most well-stocked rescue tent. By the end of May, more than 20,000 people had been rescued. Those who were rescued were not only Chinese, but also Americans and mostly Ukrainians. The largest rescue was transporting over 100 refugees, children, safely from Ukraine to Spain. In April 2022, Belgian Prime Minister Alexander De Croo visited the Medica refugee camp and highly praised the rescue effort of the NFSC. He took a photo with the frontline rescue fellow fighters. Many rescue personnel from other countries praised the professional performance of the NFSC rescue team and supported its goal of eliminating the Chinese Communist Party. They have established a good relationship of mutual trust with the NFSC rescue team. In December 2022, the NFSC was invited to participate in the Youth Jewish Leadership Summit at America Fest in Phoenix, Arizona. The speeches were given by new federal state of China fellow fighter Nicole and Prince Lee were the highlight of the event. MilesGuo believes that Nicola's speech has surpassed the significance of Madame Chiang Kai-shek's speech to the US Congress a year ago. New Federal State of China journalists interviewed many guests at the summit, and these conservative elites all agree with its goal of taking down the CCP because they have realized that the CCP's infiltration has posed a huge threat to the United States. In February 2023, the NFSC team was invited to Capitol Hill in the United States to provide information about MilesGuo's bankruptcy case and the process of the CCP's infiltration in the United States through its judicial unrestricted warfare. The members of Congress regarded the evidence of MilesGuo's exposure of the CCP and its infiltration in the United States as the Holy Bible of investigating the CCP's infiltration in the US. During the meeting at Capitol Hill, the NFSC team explicitly stated to the members of Congress that the NFSC's goal of taking down the CCP does not require funding from the US, but rather the clearing out of the traitors who sell out America and the serving of economic support to the CCP. They also emphasized that the US media is largely under CCP control and that the battleground in the fight against the CCP is not in China but rather in the US, specifically in Washington and New York. At the meeting, one of the members of Congress wrote down, "Clear America first, free Chinese second." In March 2023, the new federal state of China participated as a partner in the CPAC Conservative Political Action Conference held in Washington, D.C. The NFSC's booth was the most popular during the four-day event. The members of the NFSC constantly exposed the Chinese Communist Party's infiltration into the United States and comprehensive investigation and complete decoupling from the PRC. During this conference, the NFSC team not only displayed a professional, energetic and fashionable image of the Chinese people, but also expressed the Chinese people's desire to always have a friendly relationship with the American people. They advocate that the CCP does not equal China and the CCP does not represent the Chinese people. Starting from February 2023, Sinchfield Tonight, a popular program under Newsmax, the fourth largest media outlet in the US, interviewed and reported on the new federal state of China. On March 10th, NFSC member Prince Lee shocked the world by revealing on the program the financial and sexual relations between Dr. Anthony Fauci and the director of the Wuhan Institute of Virology, Wang Yanyi. On March 15, 2023, MilesGuo was forcibly taken away from his home in New York by more than 100 FBI agents. This was due to economic fraud charges filed by the US DOJ and SEC against MilesGuo, which allegedly did not involve any victim. The CCP, using its infiltration of the US, has escalated its persecution of MilesGuo to a frenzy. After being taken away by the FBI from his home for 6 hours, a large fire broke out on the 18th floor of the Sherry Netherland apartment while the FBI agents were still there, and most of the rooms in the apartment were destroyed by fire. What's even more surprising is that in the DOJ's 38 pages indictment, there is not a single clear victim identified.
One complaint from an unnamed victim. It's just 38 pages of what the Department of Justice says MilesGuo did.
During the trial, the prosecution was forced to admit, when asked by the judge to disclose information, that there were a lot of collaborations with the Chinese government. In the process of prosecuting MilesGuo, now the prosecution is using the excuse of flight risk to prevent MilesGuo from posting bail. The new federal state of China organized a spontaneous protest outside the Sherry Netherland apartment building. An investor who fled from the PRC spoke at the protest, recounting how he was threatened by CCP police and falsely accused MilesGuo. On Twitter, the new federal state of China launched a massive Free MilesGuo campaign, and more investors stated that they were not victims of MilesGuo. People continue to expose CCP infiltration into the United States and the truth of MilesGuo's framing to various sectors of society, making more Americans understand that the CCP is ready to take over the United States. MilesGuo's case is a severe test of the US judicial system, and in a world where the Communist Party exists, there is no turning back for humanity. The new federal state of China will fight alongside MilesGuo until the CCP is overthrown.